Hello. Hey, oh, ketchup para aqui. Sim, sim.
If you like midnight driving with the windows down, and if you like going places we can't even pronounce, if you like to do whatever you've been dreaming about, baby you're perfect, baby you're perfect. So let's start right now.
So now, friends, now I would show my body. Yes, I would show different parts of my body. In the center of an atom, there is the nucleus. It is made up of even smaller parts. These are called protons and neutrons. Each of these protons carries a positive electrical charge. The neutrons are equally as heavy as protons, but don't carry any electrical charge. So, the nucleus of an atom is positively charged due to protons. Now, electrons are outside the nucleus. They are orbiting around the nucleus. The electrons carry a negative charge. The total negative charge of electrons is equal to the positive charge of the nucleus. So in total, an atom is neutral. The positive charge of the protons is neutralized by the negative charge of the electrons. So it is like +1 is neutralized by -1, and overall charge of an atom becomes 0. The electrons are moving outside the nucleus at a very high speed. Can they run away from the nucleus? No, they can't run away. Every atom has the same number of protons, electrons, and neutrons, so there is an attraction between equally strong negative and positive charges. Due to this attraction, electrons can't run away, as positively charged protons keep them pulled towards them. Hope this is all clear to all of you. Otherwise, you can always go back and see it again. Now let me explain how we atoms bond together to form a molecule. It's just like the letters getting together to form a word. Electrons keep moving in shells outside the nucleus. Each shell contains a fixed number of electrons. The first shell can have 2 electrons, and the second can have 8 electrons. The third can hold 18, and the fourth can hold up to 32 electrons. The atoms in the outermost shell of an atom are called valence electrons, and the outermost shell is called the valence shell.
When numbers of atoms are combining, the whole energy levels are dividing into sub-energy levels and become overlap, which is called the energy band. So there are 3 types of energy band: field band, valence band, and conduction band. In band theory, there's a large forbidden gap between the valence band and the conduction band. In order to conduct electricity, electron from the valence band must cross the forbidden gap and reach the conduction band. However, not all the materials allow the flow of the electricity, so we split them into 3 groups, which is called conductor, semiconductor, and insulator. So you may ask, what is a conductor? A conductor is an object or material that allows the flow of electricity in one or more direction. Usually single element metal are the best example for conductors. For example, copper, silver, and etc. Imagine now the valence band and the conduction band is represented by boxes. Here we show the conductor. The blue part of the box is conduction band, and the yellow part is the valence band. In terms of band theory, conductors show an overlap of the valence band and the conduction band, which is the green part of the box. It means that the conductor is requiring no energy to let the electron from the valence band reach the conduction band. It means that the conductor is requiring no energy to let the electron from the valence band reach the conduction band. But what about an insulator? Insulator is a material whose internal electric charges do not flow freely, and therefore make it nearly impossible to conduct electricity. Most material on Earth are insulator, but a perfect insulator doesn't exist, because even an insulator contains small numbers of mobile charges which carry current. Why is that? I will show you in a minute. Insulator also have valence band and the conduction band. In band theory, insulator have a big forbidden gap, which require a huge amount of energy to bridge the gap for the free electron in valence band to reach the conduction band, which is also a proof that the perfect insulator doesn't exist. If you somehow manage to supply a huge amount of energy, an insulator will suddenly become a conductor, causing a large increase in current through the substance, though it usually brings physical or chemical changes to the material properties permanently. At last, there is semiconductor. Semiconductor in its nature state is usually an insulator. However, in certain circumstances, the conductivity of semiconductor can increase significantly. As you can see for semiconductor, it does have the forbidden gap, which show that it is an insulator in nature state. But the gap is relatively small compared to insulator. With the help of higher voltage or higher temperature, it can bridge the gap to let free electron from valence band to reach the conduction band, which resulting the flow of electricity in semiconductor possible.
Hi guys, it's my turn and I will introduce about the conductivity of the semiconductor. But before that, you guys have to know what is semiconductor as well. And there's two types of semiconductors, that is intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. Semiconductors are neither good conductors nor good insulators. In low temperatures they are insulator, but in high temperature they will become conductors and they have a crystal lattice structure. This is how a crystal lattice structures of a semiconductors look like. Semiconductor conduct electricity through generation of an electron-hole pair and recombination of an electron with a hole, and this is highly temperature dependent. So this is the basic structures of an intrinsic silicon. It consists of holes, electron, and some ions, and I will show you guys how does electron current form inside an intrinsic silicon. And this is a free electron, and when a voltage is applied, free electrons are free to move randomly and attracted to the positive end. The movement of electrons is one type of current in semiconductors and is called electron current. And this is the direction of an electron current. Next, I'll show you guys how does a hole current form inside the intrinsic silicon. So now I'll show you guys how a hole current forms inside an intrinsic silicon. So firstly, this is a free electron. The free electron will leave this hole in the valence shells, and the second valence electron will move in the first hole and leave the second hole. And this process will continue and go on and go on. When the valence electron moves from right to left to fill a hole while leaving another hole behind, the hole has effectively moved from right to left. And this is how a hole current looks like, and this is a movement of holes.
Extrinsic semiconductors are further subdivided into p-type or trivalent and n-type or pentavalent. As we can see, we have 3 electrons orbiting in the outermost shell of the atom. It is called as trivalent. And in the other atom, we have 5 electrons orbiting, hence it is called as pentavalent. The common examples of trivalent are boron, gallium, and indium, and that of pentavalent are phosphorus, arsenic, and antimony. The process of adding these impurities to the intrinsic semiconductors is called as doping, and the impurities that improve the conductivity of these semiconductors are called as dopants. In case of trivalent, 3 electrons of boron will form 3 bonds with silicon, and in the 4th bond of silicon, there will be one empty space or hole, and as seen previously, the immediate neighboring electron will be attracted towards the hole, thus creating another empty space in its previous location. Simultaneously, the electrons of the silicon atoms attain thermal energy and keep breaking the covalent bonds at room temperature, thus creating further free electrons, and this movement will go on in the same manner. Therefore, the number of holes generated in this structure dominate over the electrons. Hence, this structure is called as a p-type semiconductor. Now let's look at the second type of extrinsic semiconductor, the n-type or pentavalent semiconductor. In this, the atomic structure of the n-type or pentavalent semiconductor will have 5 electrons in the outermost shell. As silicon requires only 4 additional electrons to attain stability, in pentavalent atom we have 1 extra electron as the valence electron. So we get a net negative charge due to this extra electron. Hence its name is n-type semiconductor. Common examples of n-type or pentavalent impurities are phosphorus, arsenic, and antimony. When we add pentavalent impurities to an intrinsic semiconductor, we observe that the phosphorus atom forms 4 bonds with 4 silicon atoms, fulfilling the needs of silicon. But even after that, there remains 1 electron which does not form any bond and remains free. Hence, unlike the previous structures, here we get free electron readily available for conduction. This electron rotates randomly around the phosphorus atom, following a circular motion. In addition to this, the breaking of bonds as seen in the intrinsic semiconductors happens here as well.
As a conclusion, material can be classified into 3 types, which are insulators, conductors, and semiconductors. Insulators are material that does not conduct electrical current, and conductors are material that easily conducts electrical current. Semiconductors are material between conductors and insulators in its ability to conduct electricity. For semiconductor, it will be classified into 2 groups, which are intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic semiconductors are pure form of semiconductors. Impurities are added to extrinsic semiconductors to improve conductivity. Extrinsic semiconductors are divided into 2 groups, which are n-type semiconductors and p-type semiconductors. Pentavalent impurities are added to silicon or germanium for n-type semiconductor. This results in an increase of free electron. This means that the majority carriers of n-type semiconductors is free electron. However, for p-type semiconductor, trivalent impurities are added to silicon or germanium to increase the numbers of holes. This means that the majority carriers for p-type semiconductors is holes.